So now let's work out the area of these shapes. To work out the perimeter, I walked around the outside edge. I needed this length, which is 5, but I didn't need this distance, which is 4. But to work out the area, I need to work out the space in the middle. And for that, I'm going to need this height. Why? Do you remember the formula for the area of a parallelogram? Well, the area of a parallelogram is length times width. But if you're not sure what you're doing, you might be tempted to put the wrong numbers in. The length is definitely 12. The width is not 5. Not 5. These two distances have to be at right angles. Is the 12 at right angles to the 5? No. But the 12 is at right angles to the 4. Let me transfer that 4 into here. This is the same as that, and it's 4 metres. And I need two lengths that are at right angles to each other. So this length actually has to be 4. Let me try and convince you a different way. Have a look at what I've done here. I've cut off this triangle here. This section over here, do you agree with me, I hope you do, that it's the same size and shape as that section there? In fact, if I take this piece, slice it off, and add it over here, so that I've actually got, which colour will I use? I actually end up with this. I take that piece off and put it over here. What shape have I got now? I've actually got a rectangle. And to work out the area of a rectangle, it's this length, which is 12, times this width, which is 4. It's got to be the perpendicular height, 4. 12 times 4 is 48. Oh, 48 what? What are my units? Well, I started with metres, but I've gone metres multiplied by metres, so I've actually got square metres. It is important you get in the habit of calling this square metres. If you call it metres squared, then later on you may make a silly mistake and go 48 squared, which it isn't. It's just 48. It's 48 square metres. Be careful with your language because the way you say it will affect the way you think about it. Square metres. Let's try the next one. This is a bit more complex of a shape. Can I break up this shape into a couple of different shapes that I can easily work out the area of? Yes, I can. First of all, I would be cutting it off here. Because then I've got a simple rectangle down here. Let's call that 1. Notice the way I'm going to start labelling what I'm doing so it's easy to understand. That's rectangle number 1. What shape is this one? It's actually got a pair of parallel sides. That makes it a trapezium. But do you remember the formula to work out the area of a trapezium? If you don't, there's something you can do to work it out. Let me show you the simple method first with the formula, and then I'll show you the alternative. We're going to call that 2. And we're going to say, area 1, rectangle, length times width. Well, 25 by 20. And if you're not sure, get a calculator. 500 watt Everything's in centimetres. So they must be square centimetres. Not centimetres squared, square centimetres. Get your language right so you get it, you understand it properly later. Okay, area 2. If you remember the formula for the area of a trapezium, well, it's half A plus B times the height. I'm going to run out of room, I might start writing over the top of my shape here. Half, now A and B, where are my colours? A and B have to be the two parallel sides, and H has to be the perpendicular height. Well, what's the perpendicular height? It's 12. Whoops! There goes my calculator. A is 10, B is 20, and the height is 12. Grab my calculator again. Some people get confused here and they go, half what? Half what? Well, you just get your calculator and you type a half. If it's a modern calculator that supports fractions, you can actually go a half. But remember, if you don't, this fraction line just means divide. So you can just go 1 divided by 2. Or even, you might know that that's decimal, 0.5. So you just go 1 divided by 2 times brackets. Don't forget to do this in brackets. Or of course you can do it in your head. 10 plus 20 is 30. Close brackets, times by 12. 180. 180 what? Square centimetres. Okay? So, have I finished what I'm doing? No, I haven't. I haven't actually yet found the total area. The total area, whoopsie. Right. I'm going to write that differently, hold on a second. I'm going to write the word total so I know what I'm doing. Total area is 500 plus 180. It was a messy 5, wasn't it? Oh, it's getting even messier. Very messy today. 500 plus 180, which is 680 square centimetres. But what if you can't remember that formula? What are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is break this trapezium up into 2 or 3 separate shapes. Let me show you. Okay. So suppose instead I need to break this up because I just can't remember this formula. Well, there's a couple of ways. I can just make a rectangle, a triangle, and another triangle. And in fact, these 2 triangles will be the same because these are the same. So if I was doing it that way, well, let's see. Area number 2 would be 10 by 12, 120. Area 3, it's a triangle, half base times height. Half, ooh, can you see a similarity here? Half the base here, well that's 20, that's 10, so the other 2 bits make 10, so the base here must be 5. And the height is 12, which is 30. And then area number 4 is the same as area number 3, which makes it 30. So then look, I've got 120 plus 30 plus 30, which makes 180. So if you get stuck, break it up into separate shapes. Let me show you yet one more way you can do it, which is this. You can, in fact, instead of the orange, you can actually break it up into one triangle and I'm going to straight this one. Another triangle. And as long as you're careful to use this space for one of them, and this space for the other, and the same height 12, you will end up with the same answer. In fact, that's where this formula for a trapezium's area comes from.